Welcome to this deep dive presented by Safety One Source. Today, we're zeroing in on something really critical for all you safety professionals, risk managers, anyone really aiming for that safer workplace.
That's right. We're talking about maintaining markings, labels, and placards on hazardous materials packages and, the vehicles transporting them once they're in your facility.
Exactly. And our mission, our focus today, is really to clarify employer responsibilities here. We want to make sure everyone understands the regs, stays compliant, and prevents hazards.
Absolutely. It's about nailing down those specifics.
Okay, so let's dive in. Picture this. A shipment of hazardous materials arrives. What's the first thing employers need to know about those markings?
Well, the core requirement is pretty straightforward. If you get a package that's marked, labeled, or placarded according to the DOT's hazmat regs, that's 49 CFR parts 171 through 180U, you simply have to retain those markings. Keep them on.
Keep them all. Okay. And that's not just for like the cardboard boxes, right? It goes bigger.
Oh, definitely. It extends to the big stuff, too. Freight containers, rail cars, motor vehicles. Essentially, any transport vehicle that shows up with those placards or markings, it's, comprehensive.
Right. So how long does this requirement last? I mean, you don't keep them forever, presumably?
No. The rule has a clear endpoint. Those markings, labels, placards, they need to stay put until the packaging or the vehicle itself is sufficiently cleaned of residue.
Sufficiently clean.
And purged of vapors. The key phrase is to remove any potential hazards. So it's not just about being empty, it's about being safe. No remaining risk.
Got it. So even if something's in temporary storage, say, waiting to be processed.
Still applies, yep. As long as that potential hazard exists, the markings stay. It's proactive safety.
Makes sense. Now, beyond just keeping them, what about actually being able to see them?
Good point. It's not just about retention. The regulations specifically say you have to maintain these markings, placards, labels so they remain readily visible. Legible.
Okay, legible and visible. That's crucial.
Absolutely. If people can't easily see and read the hazard info, it defeats the purpose.
Right. Okay, so we've got the main rule.
Right.
But what about smaller packages?
Yeah.
Non-bulk stuff that isn't going to be shipped out again from your site. Is there any flexibility there?
Yes, there is actually. For non-bulk packages that are staying put, there's an alternative.
Okay.
The requirement to keep the original DOT markings is considered met if instead you put on a label or another acceptable marking that follows the hazard communication standard.
The HAZCOM standard, 29 CFR 1910.1200.
Exactly that one. So it gives you a practical option for those internal use materials.
That's really useful, especially for internal handling. Okay, one more clarification point, just to be sure everyone's on the same page. How is hazardous material itself defined here? Or other terms?
Yeah, important for avoiding confusion. In this specific part of the regulation, hazardous material and any other terms that aren't defined right there, they take the exact same meaning as defined in the main DOT hazardous materials regulations. The 49 CFR parts 171 through 180 we mentioned earlier.
So consistency across the board.
Yeah.
It all links back to the DOT framework.
Precisely. Keeps things clear and standardized.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the key takeaways for our safety pros listening. When those DOT-marked hazmat packages or vehicles arrive, keep the markings. Maintain them so they're visible.
Right. And keep them until all potential residue and vapor hazards are completely gone.
Completely gone. And remember, for those non-bulk packages staying on site, you can use a HAZCOM standard label as an alternative.
And all the definitions trace back to the DOT regs.
Perfect. So that leads to a final thought, something to maybe mull over back at your facility.
Yeah, considering how subtle some residue hazards can be.
Right.
How robust are your current procedures, really? How do you truly verify that all residues and vapors are gone before removing those markings?
That's a great question. Something definitely worth reviewing in your own safety protocols. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.